Hi global entrepreneurs, welcome to BGI's YouTube channel. We've had quite an interesting couple of months. We've been interviewing a lot of people in the Portuguese startup ecosystem, from venture capital investors all the way to startup founders and policymakers. We just wanted to share some more light on the Portuguese ecosystem, and we hope you learn a couple of things from these interviews. Enjoy. Thank you, Francisco, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's a privilege to speak with you. So I don't know, would you like to just give us an introduction about who you are and what you're about? Yes.
Well, so my name is Francisco Ferreira Pinto. I'm a partner at, formerly Busy Angels. Basically we started as a group of business angels back in 2010. And in 2015 we created a venture capital firm, launched our first regulated fund, so the second under management. So what we do at Bynd Venture Capital, we invest in seed and early stage tech startups. We look for digital B2B, digital B2C, and an area that we call sustainability, which aggregates companies from life science, biotech, medtech, or clean tech. And our focus is to invest directly in Portugal and Spain, or in any other country that has a connection with this country. So either a strong connection by a founder, which is Portuguese, or the market they intend to pursue, or they are building the tech center here. So it has to have a cultural connection with us to make sense for us to be able to invest.
Fantastic. So, like I mentioned earlier, you've invested in some really, really nice and interesting companies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them still have a real strong hold here in Portugal. Some of them have decided to expand to other parts, and some of them have actually moved their HQ in Portugal. And we see a trend whereby they leave many of their research and development labs here in Portugal. But is there something wrong with the Portuguese ecosystem that makes many of the startups want to move somewhere else?
Well, no, I think it's actually a very good sign.
Okay.
Normally, you tend to move. Either you move your headquarters or not. So you tend to go internationally because of normally business or investors. So it's normally for good reasons. Portugal has a lot of positive things, but one thing that we have is a small internal market. So that makes the startups and the tech companies to think international from day one.
Okay.
So going abroad with some structure is very common, and it's very good because it brings skills that you don't see in other countries. For example, we invest a lot in Spain, and I believe we now know a little bit about what happens in that market.
Okay.
And Spain has different characteristics. Spain has a big internal market, so it's 6-7 times the size of Portugal. And so one of the things that we try to bring to the companies is this spirit of internationalization still.
Okay.
Because you could have the risk to be only in Spain, exploring the internal market for 3-4 years, but that also it's probably can be a limitation for the future.
Yeah.
And so this is a good characteristic, and I think it's good for us, and you'll see happening more and more.
So you mentioned how in Portugal there are a variety of things. One of the factors that makes people move, one of the signs that it's a good thing for startups to move, it shows that they are going. But you also mentioned the fact that maybe some things might not, like for example, having a small internal market in Portugal is one of the challenges of having a startup here in Portugal. Does Portugal create what kind of environment does Portugal create for startups in general?
Well, I think we have a tremendous growth, and the ecosystem now has a set of tools that if we had this talk 5 or 10 years ago, you wouldn't hear it. So basically, I think there was an investment from all the different stakeholders. So from investors, from startups, from accelerators, incubators, from public funds.
Mm-hmm.
So you now have a structure that enables, I believe, companies and investors to focus on growth. So basically, some of these factors. So you have first, and I believe BGI is part of that. you have incubators and a solid base of incubators and accelerators throughout the country. Of course, with 5 or 10 reference players that have been here also for long and have also built solid bases to help create standards for startups. That's very important. Secondly, in the startup area, so you now start to have founders with a lot of experience. You have people sharing experience between themselves. You have different types of experience. People that only stayed in the internal market, people that internationalize for different countries, people with investors, people not with investors. So you have all different cases that normally tend to add value to the whole ecosystem. In the investors part, so you also see growth and evolution. So in our case, we grew from business angels to venture capital. So we are fully dedicated to the job, and we are also growing, managing new funds, and we see that trend also in other players. Also, track record is starting to show. So we are starting to have big rounds, exits, even that partial exits. So that's also essential for the ecosystem because it makes the money turn around. So investors can give the money back to their LPs. Founders can also start investing in some funds or in other companies. So I think you are in a curve, and a very positive curve. And finally, I will talk also about the public financing. So you now have a set of tools that you can use. Founders, the tech visa, the incubator, the startup visa, and also for funds like the co-financing lines from the IFD or the 200M. Which also is an enabler and a leverage for the sector.
I think it's very clear that the Portuguese ecosystem is growing fast, and there are a lot of things that are positive things that are happening because compared to 5 years ago, and last year we did have some interesting news about some big round sizes in companies like OutSystems, etc. Do you think it's just do you think that's like an indication of things to come in terms of like massive round sizes to come, like say in the next 2 years, or do you think we still have a long way to go before we can achieve more of this kind of round magnitudes?
Yeah, so the OutSystems deal that you are particularly talking, it's difficult to predict if you are going to have the same result or the same round in the near future, because it normally tends to be an outlier. But what we do see is more companies reaching maturity, reaching growth, and raising Series A, Series B, Series C. So that I would expect that it will continue in the next few years. I look inside my portfolio and I see it. So we see a lot of companies growing very well. The markets there are also some new funds out there in Europe, in the US. So there's liquidity and availability of capital. And we have so all of these past results from OutSystems, TalkDesk, Farfetch. It's important to put Portugal in the map. So when we go and talk with American investors, we talk about Portugal, and it's not the unknown, right? So that's also relevant to have them put money in the companies, because there's always the country risk that we mitigate by having this marketing and publicity and showing that renowned and very professional investors are already coming into this place. So I believe now it's the other way around, is competition for the best deals, and every investor wants to be to have the first pick.
Great. So what's the future for Bynd? Now, a new fund, your team is expanding, and you're doing a lot of new investments. So what do you see in the next 5 years, and what's the goal now?
Well, we have basically now the first goal with this new fund is to invest it, right? So we have the objective to make 20 investments minimum with this fund. We can do up to 500k tickets, first and tickets and follow-ons. And so we have 4 years or 5 years to invest. Okay, so that's the first area. The second one is, of course, work with and support our current portfolio, support their growth, help them reach their objectives, and also, as we expect, have some exits and some good deals for ourselves and for the founders. And we are, I believe, on the way, and we are already doing that. And the third aspect that we will continue doing, and this is a more short term, is also continue the fundraising. So we still have some tickets, and the fund can be a little bit higher also. So that's also complementary to investing and supporting the companies.
Okay. So how does a startup, they've heard about your new fund, they want to give themselves a shot to see how they can get some investments from you? What should they do? Is there?
Well,
just send you an email.
So that's a characteristic that we keep for since the beginning. We try to answer every email we receive. So of course, companies reach us from different sources, directly, but also from references, co-investors, you guys. Investors, other founders. Yeah. So you have a lot of different forms to reach us. But we take the same care from the source that comes, and because it's in our interest to know as many companies as we can. The process, so we need the initial information. So prepare some materials, a deck with information regarding some of those topics, team, product, early traction, market, competition, and plan. That would be 7 slides. And we'll see the fit with our investors, an initial fit, and then if it moves forward, we have some initial meetings and we start the process. Okay. This is, as I normally say, a process to get married. A marriage that will have an end, so it's, it will go to the divorce statistics.
With a good divorce.
We hope with divorce in good terms. But it's like a marriage, and so if you want to marry someone, I think you need to know them well, and from both sides. So founders also need to know us very well. And to be comfortable about marriedness. So it's a two-way process. The due diligence must be done by us, but also by them.
It's very interesting you mentioned that. So we always typically know what investors are trying to look for in startups. What should startups be looking for in investors?
Well, that's a good question. I believe that they should look for trust. This is by the end of the day a people's business, and if you're going to stay with a company for 5 to 10 years, again a marriage, you need to have trust and not lose that trust. So you need to feel comfortable working with that person and having that person or group of persons side by side and wanting to work with them. Also, I would say look for professionalism, look for knowledge in the industry, in the venture capital industry, some specific knowledge for the functions that you probably need more help. Look for the solutions that they bring, and talk with the other portfolio companies to see what every investor brings to the table. So at the end, and this is very personal to Bynd Venture Capital. At the end, it's not just capital, because if it's just capital, there are probably other ways to find it. With our tickets, we invest in bigger rounds, so we co-invest the majority of our deals. So if it was only about the capital, we wouldn't invest in anything. So I do believe it's not about that.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you, Francisco, for giving us a
thank
chance
you
to
also.
speak with you. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I think it's a great initiative, and this is also part of your report
Yes.
around the ecosystem. I think all of that is also good to put us in the map and to show the results that we have in the ecosystem. I think the challenge, as always, is to get quality data.
Yeah.
So if I can say something, work really hard on that continuously, and count with our support to try to bring you all the available and information that we can share.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, I hope you really enjoyed that video. If you want to know more about Portuguese Startup Ecosystem as well as the top promising scale-ups in Portugal, make sure you go to our website at www.scaleupportugal.tech and download all our reports that we've written for the ecosystem. So if you just want to find out about what other activities we do regarding the ecosystem, how we accelerate startups here in Portugal, also make sure you go to www.bgi.pt and send us an email and we'll get back to you. Thank you.